books came in. Of course, you put them aside.
You showed it.
No, didn't get lost.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you all so much for being here and coming together with us to celebrate the Vyasa Puja of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya. He wrote everything to Srila Prabhupada. If it wasn't for Srila Prabhupada, we wouldn't have this temple. Srila Prabhupada installed Radhakalachandji here. We wouldn't have all of his disciples that continue to share Krishna consciousness with us and nourish us. We're very fortunate to have quite a few of Srila Prabhupada's disciples here today. So for all of the devotees, I just ask you to please, you know who the Prabhupada disciples are that are here. Reach out to them, ask them how you can serve them. By serving them and pleasing them today, we can hope to please Srila Prabhupada. By doing that, we can hope to get Radhakalachandji's mercy. And I know everybody's maybe a little bit, our material bodies are feeling a little tired from the festivities yesterday. So let's please show our love and gratitude to Srila Prabhupada by being so kind to each other today. Let's really try to serve together in a mood of kindness and compassion. We can do things right, but let's be very kind and encouraging with each other and serve Srila Prabhupada and Shri Shri Radhakalachandji and all the devotees nicely together. So thank you all so much for being here. So we'll start by reading the introduction for Vyasa Puja.
So generally the tradition in our temple is that the temple president reads the introduction because it actually introduces the purpose of Vyasa Puja so that we understand it properly and that we're in the right mood. So I'll have our dear temple president sit here on this seat, please. And so this book comes out once a year. This is the official Vyasa Puja book in which all of the GBCs, the temple presidents, and other project leaders write their offering to Srila Prabhupada. So we'll have Mr. Nirupa Prabhu now read that introduction. Thank you.
And after this, we will ask all of Srila Prabhupada's disciples to speak and share with us. So if there's enough time at the end, we'll ask other devotees. Embracing Srila Prabhupada's legacy, a guiding light through contemporary challenges. As we gather to commemorate the auspicious occasion of Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja, we are afforded the opportunity not only to offer our gratitude and reverence, but also to collectively immerse ourselves in the timeless wisdom Srila Prabhupada bestowed upon us. The Vyasa Puja book serves as more than a collection of homages. It is a testament to the enduring potency of Srila Prabhupada's teachings and a vital resource for the International Society for Krishna Consciousness as it navigates the complexities of the modern world. In his purport to text 4 of the Nectar of Instruction, we read, "The International Society for Krishna Consciousness has been established to facilitate these 6 kinds of loving exchanges between devotees. One of the loving exchanges is revealing one's mind in confidence. The annual Vyasa Puja book encourages and facilitates such a confidential extraction of devotees' feelings for Srila Prabhupada, and for other devotees to absorb themselves in them. So all who composed offerings and all who will read them are participants in the most delightful form of Guyam Akyati Prichati, confidential revelation and inquiry specifically for our cherished founder Acharya." ISKCON, as a dynamic spiritual movement, encounters various challenges in its mission. Among them, ensuring the continuity and purity of Srila Prabhupada's instructions, fostering unity and a strong sense of community amid a diverse global following, and adapting its presentation in order to resonate better with contemporary society, all while upholding its foundational principles. As we face these challenges, Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja book serves as a powerful tool for revitalization and direction. For example, in reaffirming foundational principles and fostering unity, you'll see that the offerings in the Vyasa Puja book invariably draw us back to core tenets of Krishna consciousness, as Srila Prabhupada gave them to us. And in articulating their realizations and gratitude, devotees, from senior disciples to later generations, consistently speak of the critical importance of his teachings in their service and lives. The shared focus in unifying, nurturing a cohesive understanding of our philosophy and how to apply it. The Vyasa Puja book is thereby a vibrant form of Sangha for Prabhupada Anugas. Reading the heartfelt glorifications and expressions of indebtedness to Srila Prabhupada is one of the best ways to strengthen our faith in His divine grace. And stronger faith in Srila Prabhupada fortifies our collective faith in ISKCON and helps us serve His Krishna consciousness movement with greater resolve. When facing internal or external obstacles, reading these offerings can remind us of our founder Acharya's own unwavering devotional resolve, conviction, and spiritual strength. The honoring of Srila Prabhupada's dedication to his spiritual master and determination to serve the mission is a theme in many of the offerings you'll find in this volume. The Vyasa Puja book also serves as a vital bridge that connects senior devotees, a number of whom had Srila Prabhupada's personal association, with all the devotees who have come after them. The torch of Srila Prabhupada's legacy is being passed down, and in these offerings we receive it along with an emphasis on the mood, mission, and standards he established for ISKCON. In this way, the experience and wisdom of our seniors is passed down to all of us who wish to carry this movement forward. As we immerse ourselves in these offerings, let's do it with a prayerful heart. Let's honor Srila Prabhupada and imbibe the spirit and letter of his teachings by collectively focusing on his instructions and the profound impact he continues to have in our lives. We become empowered to face challenges with clarity, loyalty, and unwavering devotion. May this book be a beacon shining on our collective service to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and his sacred mission. Before closing, we'd like to thank the devotees who helped put this year's book together. Bhakti Vaibhav Swami chose the many beautiful photos of Srila Prabhupada inside the book. Sita Thakurani Devidasi and her husband, Don Stammers from the United Kingdom, and Vasudama Das from Australia did the proofreading. Shameshwari Radha Devidasi from Alachua helped edit the offerings. Chaitanya Devidasi from Croatia chose the quotes for the Our Obeisances to You for Your Transcendental Instructions section in the back of the book. Please note that again this year, the Vyasa Puja book is available in PDF format, so you can download and share it with members of your community. It will also be online at vyasapuja.com. Would you like to offer some service with Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja book? Write us at vphomages@iskcon.net and let's connect. Thank you. Your servants on the Vyasa Puja book team, Satya Medha Gaurangadas, Ananda Tirthadas, Kaishori Devidasi, and Pragosh Das. There were a few points that I would just like to touch on. The first is the emphasis on how the Vyasa Puja book and offerings they encourage us and facilitate a confidential extraction of devotees' feelings for Srila Prabhupada and for other devotees to absorb themselves in them. So that's an opportunity that we all have today. Today we'll hear from Srila Prabhupada's disciples here in Dallas. We're very fortunate that we have the opportunity to hear from them, who personally served Srila Prabhupada and had his association and were initiated by him. So let's please do our best to really absorb ourselves in these offerings, to really be so present in this room together that we can actually get to associate with Srila Prabhupada by hearing about him from his disciples and the devotees that share. So thank you all so much for being here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So I'm being asked to help shift the temple room a little bit so we have space.
If you can come in closer.
Yeah, if we could all scoot in closer, please. And next I would like to ask Chakri Prabhu, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, we have 4 persons that we've been asking. One is Chakri Prabhu, and then after Chakri Prabhu, Mother Biramala Prabhu. And then after that, we have Mishra Bhagavan Prabhu here. Still here? Mishra Bhagavan, yes, Prabhu. And then Vishwambhara Prabhu. So the 4 of you, please, one after the other, come up and I'll make your offerings. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, Chakri Prabhu, yes. 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 Go first? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, a little bit so I can read. So, thank you all for coming. It's so nice to see all your bright faces. I just love seeing you all. There's so much to say about Prabhupada, and I really was praying what to say. But so anyway, I came up with this. I was reflecting on Srila Prabhupada's spiritual love coming from his deep devotion to Krishna, which he gives to each of us. Srila Prabhupada tells us that his mission was to arouse love of God for everyone throughout the entire world. While speaking in Montreal in 1968, Srila Prabhupada's devotional mood helped his audience to understand how we are all loved by the Supreme Lord. I'm including this because Prabhupada has given us so much information. It's not just that those of us who associated with Srila Prabhupada have his association, because we do have his association in all his books and lectures and so much information. And that's why he left that, because he knew he wasn't going to be around for too long. So he spent a lot of time writing his books so that we can continue to be with him. So here is part of this lecture. Quote, Krishna is so kind that he wants to make himself known to everyone. That is his mercy. Krishna is more anxious to accept us than we are anxious to accept Krishna. Therefore, Krishna comes in his person as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Sometimes he sends his representative. Sometimes he sends his son, a bona fide devotee. And sometimes he comes as a devotee himself to canvas, saying, please come to me, please come to me. Krishna is so kind, you see? That's just a partial part of the lecture. I was remembering a story I wanted to share with you that helped me understand how the Lord could have mercy even towards somebody like me. Prabhupada came regularly to the LA temple to oversee the publishing of his books. His disciples were able to serve him during his visits. especially in the early years. And I was given tasks to do after the morning program. One of my tasks was making his quarters very clean every day during his visit. Cleanliness was very important to Prabhupada, and I loved doing this service for him. I was also able to do other tasks in his quarters, and sometimes was able to sit quietly during a darshan in his office. One day, another young girl and I were finishing the cleaning of his bedroom when Prabhupada walked by and saw us cleaning. He entered the room, and we paid our obeisances. Circling the room, he stopped at his small bed, which we had made up fresh with nice cotton sheets. He touched the smooth coverlet and seemed pleased. He observed the table nearby and smiled at his little Jagannath deities dressed nicely in an outfit I had recently made. He walked across the polished wood floor and across the wool rug a devotee had made for him from her flock of sheep. He paused by the window and looked out peacefully as sunshine sparkled through the glass panes. Overall, he seemed pleased, and we were happy he had noticed our menial service for him. As he walked towards the doorway, he stopped at the wooden armoire where his clean clothes were neatly placed inside. With his cane in one hand, he stood on his toes and took his other hand across the top ledge. His fingers were covered with a thick layer of dark dust, and he frowned. Quickly, I gave him a clean cloth to wipe his hand. Cowering before him with my dirty apron over my sari, my legs trembled. Oh no, I thought, we never looked up there to clean. I can't even do the simple service of cleaning properly. I'm such a failure, I might as well quit. Suddenly, I heard Prabhupada chuckle, and the tension in the air lifted. I looked up, and he handed me the dirty cloth. His beautiful eyes were radiating with such an amazing love coming from deep within him. In that moment, I felt a heavy burden lift from my heart. No words were ever spoken that day as he walked out of the room towards his office. No words needed to be spoken. He knew I was not perfect. He knew I would make mistakes. Yet somehow he cared enough to help guide me along the path of my spiritual journey. So once again, my dear Srila Prabhupada, I want to thank you for not forgetting about me as the years pass by. I have made mistakes. I have been ashamed, been discouraged. Yet you pick me up and fill my heart with your transcendental love. I sincerely pray that you will forever be my spiritual guide and allow me to be a part of your mission in serving your beloved Lord Krishna. Thank you.
Jai Mother Bir Prabhu ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So Chakra Prabhu, you come through.
Mam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nivasesha Sinyavadi Paschacha Deshatarine. So this is an offering I wrote for the SP Tributes book. It's another book, another Vyasa Puja book that any Prabhupada disciple can write an offering for. So I highly recommend. You can read it online, sptributes.com. Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances at your divine lotus feet. All glories to your divine grace. I started going to the Henry Street Temple in Brooklyn, New York in 1973. Before I ever went to any temple, I was fortunate to get some of your books. Those included Perfection of Yoga, Beyond Birth and Death, Easy Journey to Other Planets, and others. These small books convinced me to become a devotee and join your movement. I actually didn't even visit any temple for 1 year after I started reading your books. This is the power of your books. They make devotees just by reading them. Your books open the doors to the spiritual world. They show us who we really are, eternal spirit souls, full of complete bliss and knowledge, and how to revive that consciousness. We were all looking for something to make us happy, such as wealth, sense gratification, technology, and intoxication. But you taught us that real happiness is Krishna consciousness and a complete process to attain it. You gave us the highest knowledge in your books. I especially appreciate that special book, Krishna book. In that one book alone, you gave us all the transcendental pastimes of the Lord through your transcendental vision and realization. You even said that your books were written by Krishna directly. You wrote in that book, Maharaj Parikshit recommended from practical experience that everyone try to hear about the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. This Krishna treatise is meant for that purpose, and the reader may take advantage in order to attain the ultimate goal of life. That's from Salvation of Trinavarta. One can very easily associate with Krishna by remembering his transcendental pastimes. Everyone has a tendency to love someone. That Krishna should be the object of love is the central point of Krishna consciousness. By constantly chanting the Hare Krishna mantra and remembering the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, one can be fully in Krishna consciousness and thus make his life sublime and fruitful from the gopis' feelings of separation. Thus you showed us that God is a person, not impersonal. You also revealed to us who that person is, Sri Krishna, a beautiful eternal youth full of all transcendental qualities and the reservoir of all pleasure. This was something completely beyond our knowledge. You also revealed to us the divine incarnation of the Lord. No, it's in my eyes. You also revealed to us the divine incarnation of the Lord for this age, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You carried his mercy, his teachings, and the holy names. Thus you are delivering all fallen souls in Kali Yuga. You traveled all over the world to fulfill the mission of Lord Chaitanya, that the holy names would be broadcast in every town and village. You sent your disciples everywhere, and you ordered us to distribute your books everywhere. I was fortunate to be on the Radha Damodar traveling Sankirtan party. We traveled from town to town, distributing your books and magazines, spreading your mercy in so many places. But there's still so many places that need your mercy. I'm praying that I can be a part of your mission to spread Krishna consciousness everywhere. Please engage me in your mission to deliver all fallen souls. Begging to be your servant, Chakridas. Hare Krishna. And I just wanted to mention one other thing that I realized this morning. When the curtains opened this morning, it was just, the beauty was so overwhelming. Just seeing the deities, the way the deities were dressed, the garlands, the altar itself, the decorations, it was just so overpowering, and I just thought, this is all coming from Srila Prabhupada. This is Prabhupada's heart. This is the essence of what Prabhupada gave us. Not only this temple, but every single temple around the world. Everything is so beautiful. All the altars, all the deities, and this is from Prabhupada's heart. This is what he's given us. The highest, most beautiful thing that there is. Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Chakri Prabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Nrsimharupa Prabhu just let me know that we adjust the lights in a way that those who are watching online can see properly. And also we're creating some video that's going to be turned into shorts. So for the lighting has to be in the right place. You might just leave the lighting as it is. The children are playing around. Sometimes they might move it back again. Thank you very much. So Mr. Bhagavan Prabhu, can you please come up? And then after that, Vishwambar Prabhu. After Vishwambar Prabhu, we have GBC representative here, Mother Prabhupada Priya. So you can come after that. Thank you very much. No, Mr. Bhagwan. Mr. Bhagwan Prabhu, please. He's right there.
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Preaching is the essence. We had a problem with the microphone stands for many years, but by devotees constantly talking about how you have to turn this little knob before you move the microphone arm. And it seems like a lot of devotees are doing that now. And we don't have to buy these every month. So, just a small note on that. My name is Mishra Bhagavan Das. I'm from Portland, Oregon. I'd like to say something about Srila Prabhupada today. I'd also like to mention Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami. One time, Madhavisha Prabhu said, you can't really talk about Prabhupada's pastimes without mentioning Tamal Krishna Goswami. That's especially true in my case because of all my personal association with Srila Prabhupada was all facilitated through Tamal Krishna Maharaj, as with many other devotees. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was the one who acted out many of Prabhupada's plans. Like Chakri mentioned, the deity worship here. The deity worship here was established by Tamal Krishna Maharaj, actually. Well, first Prabhupada installed Radha Kalachandji in 1972. And in 1978, Tamal Krishna Maharaj became responsible for them. And we have so many experiences like that, the connection between Srila Prabhupada and Tamal Krishna Maharaj was, he was the right-hand man. I sometimes think about the Sarup Damodar and Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya had many wonderful disciples and followers, but he only had one Bhakti Sarup Damodar Maharaj, who was that person who was his secretary. He would screen people before coming in to meet Lord Chaitanya. If somebody wrote something, then Bhakti Sarup Damodar Maharaj would check it out first. So, some of you may have noticed that there's a picture of Tamal Krishna Maharaj on this altar, or on this Vyasa sign. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was an intricate person with Srila Prabhupada's pastimes. In 1967, the devotees in Berkeley, California, they hired a big, huge auditorium that would hold over 300 people. And they put on a program, but it was a free program. And one problem with free is that people think there's something wrong with it. You know, the Prabhupada didn't like his books given out for free as much as he liked to see them sold. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj was 1 out of 10 people who came to this huge, they rented this place out and cooked a big feast, and we're going to have a big program in Berkeley, California. But only 10 people arrived at the facility for 300. So Srila Prabhupada acted like, everything was fine, the demigods are here, Narada Muni's watching. We'll preach to whoever comes, So Srila Prabhupada, he gave a lecture, and one man in the audience raised his hand and asked, Prabhupada said, do you have any questions? So out of the 10 people that came, one of them raises his hand and says that Srila Prabhupada asked him, what would you like to know? And he said, well, what about if somebody's not finishing this process of bhakti yoga? Don't they become like just kind of lost and they've wasted their time materially and spiritually? And Prabhupada thought that was a very intelligent question, because that's actually a question that Arjuna asked Krishna. What if we don't finish this process? Aren't you become like a riven cloud where you have no place here or there? So Tamal Krishna Maharaj was one of the only 10 people that came to this big, huge hall. And he was the only person with a question, and Prabhupada thought his question was very intelligent. Prabhupada answered that there's no loss or diminution, that once you begin devotional service, eventually you'll be successful, guaranteed. So later on, Prabhupada said that, who was that boy that asked that question? That was a very intelligent question. Prabhupada had this connection with Tamal Krishna Maharaj from that day. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj met Srila Prabhupada at a farm called Morning Star Ranch, and became his devotee that day. And when he came back down, and him and Vishnu John Swami, they joined together, became this dynamic duo. And there was a reporter that came to, they joined and were living in the San Francisco temple, and a newspaper reporter interviewed the devotees. Excuse me. And when they interviewed Tamal Krishna Maharaj, everybody explained what they thought they were doing, going back to Godhead, we're spirit souls. When the reporter got to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Goswami told him that the whole purpose of spiritual life, the secret of success, is to please the spiritual master. So that was 1967. Tamal Krishna Maharaj, that was his understanding of Krishna consciousness from the very beginning. So then, 1967, 1968, Prabhupada put Tamal Krishna Maharaj as the temple president in Los Angeles, a very important city and a very important center. And then the devotees, they went to England. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj was the leader in our movement in ISKCON from the very beginning. And temple president of Los Angeles, and then the devotees opened up the temples in London, England, and everything was coming along. So Srila Prabhupada sent his best man to England in 1969. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj became the Sankirtan leader of ISKCON, basically. This is before the GBC was invented. But Prabhupada had Tamal Krishna Maharaj going from one place to another. In 1969, he was in England, and he got the Sankirtan going. He basically invented book distribution, Sankirtan combined, Harinam, and Srila Prabhupada wrote Tamal Krishna Maharaj a letter and said that, you've done a great job there in London. Now I'd like to see you go to Germany, and I'd like to see you go to France. So you're not staying anywhere. You're now Tamal Krishna Goswami. Like he puts him on the move. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj was instructed by Prabhupada to open a Hare Krishna center in every town and village in Germany. So Prabhupada was always giving him these kind of assignments. 1970, 71, Prabhupada took Tamal Krishna Maharaj and they traveled around India. Tamal Krishna Maharaj became the first GBC of India. The big GBC was formed, and then Tamal Krishna Maharaj took on the hardest as a Westerner to try to tackle the responsibilities of a GBC in England. In India. And that was, Tamal Krishna Maharaj was Prabhupada's right-hand man. In 1970, there was an incident where the devotees, they heard some criticism of Srila Prabhupada from his godbrothers, so then they minimized his greatness. So they tried to make up for it by over glorifying him. And they started telling people that Prabhupada was non-different than God. So Srila Prabhupada was pretty upset about that. He didn't appreciate that kind of philosophy at all. He considered it Mayavadi, and he said it was a poison. So he said to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, you have to get me out of here. This is in the East Coast. And then he said, well, Prabhupada, where should we go? Should we go to Los Angeles? And Prabhupada said, no, that's not far enough. We go to Japan. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj went with Prabhupada to Japan, where a devotee had opened up a temple, and the printing of Prabhupada's books were underway, under negotiation by Dai Nippon. So Srila Prabhupada went to Japan there in 1970, and he took his man Tamal Krishna Goswami with him to that. When Prabhupada said we, he meant himself with Tamal Krishna Goswami. And then they had this discussion over how to get the cost of the books down. So Tamal Krishna Goswami started negotiating with the leaders of Dai Nippon and saying, giving them a really ridiculously low price. And they were quite disturbed, so they were trying to say what price they wanted, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj was coming in with this really low price, and then Srila Prabhupada entered in as intervened and said, there should be a compromise. And he gave a price that was much lower than what they were going to originally charge, but it was much higher than what Tamal Krishna Maharaj had offered. So in this way, Prabhupada transcendentally negotiated and got his books. And then in the end of 1973, beginning of 1974, Tamal Krishna Goswami became had a great plan of this Radha Damodar traveling Sankirtan party, and join with Vishnu John Swami and do preaching all over. So that began, I guess that's where I came in 1974. I saw a picture of Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Vishnu John Swami. So I realized as soon as I saw them that I had to be part of that. So I was living in the Portland Temple with permission from my parents. And I got permission from the GBC, and I flew to Florida. So Tamal Krishna Goswami was training up all of his men. He had this Radha Damodar party, which started off to be on the festival with Vishnu John Swami and Tamal Krishna Goswami. We're eating prasadam and distributing back to Godhead magazines. And then after you got a little good at that, then you'd be on a bus. You'd be kicked out of the nest, Tamal Krishna Maharaj say, and you'd have to go on to the one of the vans, and then you'd be selling books all day long. So we're flooding in America with Back to Godhead magazines. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj said that we're going to go visit Prabhupada, and I'm going to introduce you all to Srila Prabhupada. So then February 1975, we drove all night to see Srila Prabhupada, who was in Atlanta. And Srila Prabhupada had come to Atlanta, and he gave a famous speech where he went into ecstasy. And we started to arrive there, and we got ready, we went to Mangalartik. And then at 6 o'clock in the morning, Srila Prabhupada came in the front door of the Atlanta temple. I think it's the same building that they have now. And Prabhupada lit up the whole place. And as he was walking in front of me, I noticed that he was a little bit off the ground. Not exactly off the ground. I'd say it's like he was walking on water. You know how Jesus walked on water? Well, Prabhupada seemed to kind of walk on water too. Like Prabhupada, he didn't leave footprints in the snow. Think about that. Have you ever seen snow? Prabhupada didn't leave footprints in the snow. So Srila Prabhupada's appearance was amazing. We followed him into the temple room. He paid the curtains open. He paid his obeisances to Gaur Nitai. And I had an opportunity. His lotus feet were right in front of me. So I just grabbed them. I didn't even think for a moment this is the right thing to do, or is anybody looking or anything. They were right there. And then I held on to him until he started getting up. He had maroon socks on. So later on, Tamal Krishna Goswami introduced us personally to Srila Prabhupada. We came into the room, and there was a secretary that tried to, or a servant or somebody tried to tell Tamal Krishna Maharaj, you can't come right now. You have to have a meeting, you have to arrange a time to see Srila Prabhupada. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj just looked at him for a moment like, do you have any idea who you're talking to here? But he didn't say anything, and the man just stepped aside. So then we came in individually, and each devotee, there was like 30 men on the Radha Damodar party at this time. 3 buses, a couple of vans. We put the flower on Prabhupada's desk. And Srila Prabhupada, he looked at me, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, "This is Bhakti Michael. He joined our party at a young age." And Prabhupada smiled and said, "Oh, very good." We all sat down, and then we were stuffed into his room there in Atlanta. And then he said that, I thank you very much for distributing my books and Back to Godhead magazines. I'm always thinking of you boys in the vans. And I was touched by that because, they don't really have vans in India back in those days. So how did Prabhupada know about vans? Because of us. Prabhupada was, we were out there in those parking lots. We didn't realize that Prabhupada's somewhere thinking about us. But he said, I'm always thinking of you boys. And then he said, if you can stay brahmachari, it'll save you a lot of trouble. So he didn't really order us to stay brahmachari. He just said, it'll save you a lot of trouble. He said, my spiritual master was a brahmachari, and then he became sannyas directly. And then he turned to Tamal Krishna Goswami. He said, you have a good leader with Tamal Krishna Goswami. If you just please him, then I'll be pleased. And that was a pretty amazing endorsement. I found out later that Prabhupada didn't give out endorsements like that very often. Then it was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's appearance day, the next day, so Srila Prabhupada offered artik to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. They had a huge picture. and Srila Prabhupada joined the party together, the library party. Prabhupada invented the library party, which was the most elite devotees, and they would get quotes from Srila Prabhupada's books that Prabhupada really liked from the university professors, and sold full sets of books. That began that weekend, and then Prabhupada started the Bhaktivedanta Institute, which was scientists who were preaching the scientific basis of Krishna consciousness. And we were given boxes and boxes of this little book by Sarup Damodar, and Prabhupada wanted us to distribute them, called The Scientific Basis of Krishna Consciousness. So we took a break from Back to Godhead magazines for a couple of months, and the whole Radha Damodar party just distributed this little book by Prabhupada's instruction. So Prabhupada really liked the Bhaktivedanta Institute, the Library Party, and the Radha Damodar Party. Prabhupada was really happy. All these, so many devotees that were distributing his books, and it was ISKCON was really moving in 1975. So much happened. The opening of Krishna Balaram Mandir. Prabhupada went around the world twice that year, and opened up the Denver temple, and it was very exciting, and it led to the 1975 Christmas Marathon. And the Radha Damodar party expanded. It went from about 30 devotees to 140 devotees in 6 months. So we went and saw Srila Prabhupada again in Chicago in 1975 in July. And Srila Prabhupada, he installed deities for all the buses, because now we had 5 buses instead of 3 buses. Now there's 5 buses. And instead of 5 vans, we have 20 vans full of brahmacharis. Every van, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj is running this whole operation of distributing Back to Godhead magazines and Prabhupada's Krishna books, and then the library, and then there was the party in the airport. And Srila Prabhupada installed deities for the other 3 buses, Gauranitai deities. And one set of those Gauranitai deities is right here. So Radha Damodar is represented by these Gauranitai deities that have come to continue the Radha Damodar Sankirtan here in Dallas, Texas, which is a continuation of Tamal Krishna Maharaj's service to Srila Prabhupada. So then we had a huge Christmas marathon, and then in January 1976, I was reading these letters from Prabhupada, and one interesting phenomenon was in 1976, January, Prabhupada had wrote letters to 2 different devotees. One of them was a sannyasi that had kind of blooped, for lack of a better word. And he stole money from Prabhupada's desk and was hanging out in Radhakund, smoking bidis, and finally he went to his father's house in Chicago. And Srila Prabhupada, he wrote the letter to this devotee, practically begging him to come back. Srila Prabhupada said, "We'll forget about everything that's happened. Just come back to us." He said, "You can have a choice. You can either go to Mayapur and not have to do anything. You just chant and eat prasadam and relax in Mayapur, or you can come and travel with me." Which is a choice that he took. And I met that devotee. And Srila Prabhupada was trying so hard to bring him back. So Prabhupada wrote this letter to that one devotee saying, practically begging him to return to ISKCON. And to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he wrote another letter. He said that I want you to build the longest structure in West Bengal. He was giving him the instruction to build the Chakra building. So Prabhupada's telling Tamal Krishna Maharaj has this whole thing going with the Radha Damodar party, with millions of Back to Godheads being distributed, all these buses, all these men. And then Prabhupada just kind of hands him, well, here's a new assignment for you. Put this on your plate. I want a long building. It'll be the boundary for our Mayapur project. It'll be, separate. It'll be a boundary wall, and it'll have offices, and it'll have a BBT and living quarters, and it'll fulfill many different instructions. And I'd like to see it done by Gaur Purnima. So Prabhupada's telling Tamal Krishna Maharaj that he wants the Chakra building, and he wants it done in 3 months. So I was thinking, he writes a letter to one devotee. That's like nuts, and Prabhupada's just begging him to come back. And to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, there's no pleases, no thank yous, just have it done in 3 months. I'll be coming, and we're going to need a place for devotees to stay, and it's going to be a big Gaur Purnima. So that was amazing. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he never even said anything to us, like, oh, Prabhupada just gave me a new instruction, or we have to step it up. He just went on preaching like what he was doing, and making devotees, and he got that place built. Anybody who was there for 1977, Gaur Purnima, in 1976, he had that building functioning. He had the bathrooms working, and people were able to stay there. So that's quite an amazing task. And then we were on Sankirtan together, and then I had, I don't want to take too much more time, but it was really exciting being on the Radha Damodar party. Vishnu John Swami had a program where he said, if you're doing good on Sankirtan, you could do Dayala Bhajan. So, or you could have Dayala Sauce. Dayala Sauce was a lecture from Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And Dayala Bhajan was, Vishnu John Swami would sing a song for you over the telephone. So I felt like I'd already had enough sauce. One day I came back from, I took a nap during book distribution, and I came back, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, Mr. Bhagavan, your Sankirtan results are unacceptable. You'll have $100. Today it was $17.50. Tomorrow it'll be $100 and 100 Back to Godhead magazines, or you're off the party. You'll be off the party, and you'll have to become a temple brahmachari. So that was the greatest disgrace, and I worked really hard. The next day I actually made it $98.75, I remember. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj smiled. He said, okay, you've done a huge improvement. Thank you. So I chose the Dayala Bhajan over the sauce. And then Vishnu John Swami said, well, what song do you want to hear? I was in Flint, Michigan, and he was in the phone booth in Detroit. So I said that there's a tune that Prabhupada told you to write for this song called Vrindavan. Has anybody ever heard that? You can actually find it on YouTube right now. Vishnu John Swami, Vrindavan. And he sang the song over he pulled the telephone on top of the harmonium. We used to have telephones that had a cord. You might not know what that looks like, the youngsters, but So he put the phone on top, the receiver on top of the harmonium, and he sang this song for me, Vrindavan Ramayasthana. Because Prabhupada told him that we need a tune for this song. So Vishnu John Swami, he composed the tune. That was a special relationship between him and Prabhupada, I mean, there was, of course there was a tune, there must have been a tune. It was in the songbook. But Prabhupada said, no, we need you to write a tune for this, So he wrote this tune, and you can all listen to it sometime. Vrindavan Vishnu John Swami. And then he told me the translation. The translation is about how Radha and Krishna are in a whirl of a lotus flower on a throne in Vrindavan. And the 8 petals of the lotus flower are the 8 chief gopis surrounding Srimati Radharani and Krishna, assisting in their pastimes. And then he told me a story about the Kula Brahmachari that was representing Lord Chaitanya wherever he went. And he said, you should be like that Brahmachari, and wherever you go today, you should give people the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And then he hung up. He didn't say goodbye. But that was an ecstatic moment. And that was the kind of thing that people joined Radha Damodar for. So Radha Damodar got huge by the time we got to... this will be my last story. This will be to Prabhupada and sending Tamal Krishna Maharaj to China. You probably all heard this story to one extent to another. We got to Mayapur, and all of us came. There were like 100 brahmacharis from the Radha Damodar party. Just a few stayed back. And we took over the airplane on the way. We had a 747. It was completely filled with devotees. So we had a temple in the sky. And there was kirtan and harinam. There was a lecture given over the speaker system. Bhagavatam class by Tamal Krishna Maharaj on the yak thing, the little radio deal. So then during the Artik, we were starting to jump up and down, and the plane was like doing this, and the pilots were all Gujarati life members from ISKCON, so everybody in the whole plane was a temple. We had the ghee lamps going up and down the aisles. So that was a special occasion. And then we flew into Mayapur. And we got to Mayapur, and the first thing Tamal Krishna Maharaj did was send us all out on book distribution. So all these devotees were from all over the world, and they had cameras on, and they were going on the parikram and visiting the different temples. They were just having a holiday. And you're on the Radha Damodar party, you didn't get any money, and your only reward for doing book distribution for the whole year was more book distribution. But I felt like, I felt privileged, actually. I felt like this Radha Damodar party we're making history, we're elite. Tamal Krishna Maharaj, everybody's having a good time, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj puts us out on book distribution at the main gate, selling these little Gita Gans. Prabhupada wrote the Bhagavad Gita into a small poetry book called Gita Gan. So we were Ek Rupya Gita Gan all day long. And then Vishnu John Swami disappeared, so that was a big change. And then, half of the Radha Damodar men were basically from scratch. Tamal Krishna Maharaj met at a university or in a park or somewhere where they had the festival. And the other half were recruits, people like myself that found out about the Radha Damodar party. We were already living in a temple, but we wanted to be on the Radha Damodar party. So the Radha Damodar party, like I was mentioning, at this point was 140 men spread across the country, and we all got initiated together, and now we're all going to go to Mayapur together. So the different temple presidents had formed together to try to do something about Tamal Krishna Maharaj sweeping up all their men into his coffers. So they said to Srila Prabhupada, what are we going to do? we need to do something about this. And Prabhupada said to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, yeah, what are we going to do about this? Prabhupada always just handed it over. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, well, Prabhupada, maybe I should go to China. And Prabhupada said, yes. And he said, oh, Prabhupada, I'm sorry, I was joking. Prabhupada said, no, you weren't joking. You're going to China. And then Guru Kripa says, but Prabhupada, I'll go to China. And Prabhupada says, no, he must go. And, well, now we have devotees from China. Mother Padma's here. She could talk about that. Any devotee from China will tell you that Tamal Krishna Maharaj was the result of ISKCON in China is from him. He finally went. So I'll end there. All glories to Srila Krishna Goswami. All glories to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Mr. Bhagavan Prabhu Ki Jai. So thank you all so much for being here and joining us for Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja program. So now they're ready to do the offerings to Srila Prabhupada. So I know it's getting quite tight in the temple room, but I would ask everybody to please scoot as far as you can forward because there's quite a bit of space here in the front. And we can shift, and we're going to have to push back just a little bit so they can put the tables here for Srila Prabhupada. And while that's happening, Gopi Gita will lead us in Ohe Vaishnava Thakura. And you can pull it up on your phone. If you Google Ohe Vaishnava Thakura and go to KK Songs, you'll be able to pull up the words for it. So she'll lead us in this bhajan during the offering. And after that, we'll hear from His Grace Vishwambar Prabhu. Thank you so much. And just a reminder for those that are sitting on the benches, if there are any elders that need the bench because they can't sit on the ground, please offer the bench to them if you can sit on the ground. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Oh hey Vaishnava Thakura. Please pull it up on your phones. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Everybody please. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Oh he Vaishnava Thakura Dayara Sagara Edase Karuna Kori. Oh hey Vaishnava Thakura Oh hey Vaishnava Thakura Dayara Sagara Edase Karuna Kori. Oh hey Vaishnava Thakura Diya pada chaya shodo he amaya tomar charana dhori. Diya pada chaya shodo he amaya Diya pada chaya shodo he amaya tumara charana dhori. Diya pada chaya तुम्हारा चरण धोरी. O hey Vaishnava Thakura Dayara Sagara Edase Karuna Kori. Chaya Begadami Chaya Dosha Shodhi Chaya Guna Dehodase. Chaya Begadami Chaya Dosha Shodhi Chaya Guna. Oh Chaya Begadami Chaya Dosha Shodhi Chaya Guna Dehodase. Chaya Begadami Chaya Sada Sangha Deha He Amare. Chaya Sat Sangha Deha He Amare. Boshichi Shangera Ashe. Chaya Sada Sangha Deha He Amare. Boshichi Chaya Sata Sangha Chaya Sata Sangha Deho He Amare. Boshichi Shangera Ashe. Chaya Sata Sangha Deho He Amare. ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयर सागर इदसे करुणा कोरी एकाकी आमार नाही पाई बोलो हरि नाम संकीर्तने एकाकी आमार नाही पाया प्रभुपाद एकाकी आमार नाही पाई बोलो हरि नाम संकीर्तने एकाकी आमार तुम्ही कृपा कोरी तुम्ही कृपा कोरी श्रद्धा बिंदु दिया देह कृष्ण नाम धाने तुम्ही कृपा कोरी श्रद्धा बिंदु दिया देह कृष्ण गुरुदेव तुम्ही कृपा करी तुम्ही कृपा करी श्रद्धा बिंदु दिया देह कृष्ण नाम धाने तुम्ही कृपा करी श्रद्धा बिंदु देह कृष्ण नाम धाने ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुरा दयर सागर एदासे करुणा कोरी कृष्ण से तुम्हारा कृष्ण दीते पार तुम्हारा शक्ति आछे कृष्ण से तुम्हारा कृष्ण दीते पारा तुम्हारा शक्ति आछे आमी तो कंगाला कृष्ण कृष्ण बोली आमी तो कंगाला कृष्ण कृष्ण बोली आमी तो कंगाला कृष्ण कृष्ण बोले कृष्ण 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 हे कृष्ण 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 बोले आमी तो कंगाल कृष्ण कृष्ण बोले आमी तो कंगाल कृष्ण कृष्ण बोले कृष्ण कृष्ण बोले धाय तव पाछे पाछे, धाय तव पाछे पाछे, ओ धाय तव पाछे पाछे, धाय तव पाछे। प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद, जय जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपादा, जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपादा, पतित पावन प्रभुपादा, पतित पावन श्रील प्रभुपादा, प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय।
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So now while the offering is going on, the Bhoga offering is happening for Srila Prabhupada, we'll hear from His Grace Vishwambar Prabhu. Let's please give him our undivided attention. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
हरे कृष्ण। नमो ओम विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे, निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जन शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। So today is the most auspicious day for me, as well as all of you nice wonderful devotees, because we are celebrating the birthday celebration Vyasa Puja of the greatest personality in the modern times, Srila Prabhupada ki. So, as I am happy to be here and feel very fortunate to participate with all of you wonderful devotees in this celebration, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj says, ब्रह्मांडे भ्रमिते कोनो भाग्यवान जीव, गुरु कृष्ण कृपाए पाए भक्ति लता बीज। Brahmande, there are innumerable universes that we have traveled around. In so many species of life we have experienced in this material universes. Because of that we have forgotten our spiritual identity. Because of that we have forgotten our spiritual home. Because of that, we have forgotten our spiritual relatives. And above all, we have forgotten our most dearmost friend. So, therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Brahmande Brahmite. So then what is the solution? Therefore in Srimad Bhagavatam, it says that you have to tad vijnanartham sa gurum eva abhigachet. You must find a bona fide spiritual master. And after finding him, immediately what you should do? Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Sevaya is very important. First you do pranipat, offer your humble obeisances. So I offer my humble obeisances at this time to His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. By offering obeisances, then the Guru Maharaj, the spiritual master, he showers his mercy. His mercy is coming through his lotus feet. So pranipatena. And then pariprashnena, then we ask him, Guru Maharaj, how can I serve you? So then he gives us the service, sevaya. Upadeshantite jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina. So this Guru Maharaj, he gives us upadesh. But what kind of Guru Maharaj he is? Samit pani shrotriyam brahmanishtam. Shabde parecha nishnatam. Brahmani upashramasraya. So the requisite, the qualities of the real Guru Maharaj, the bona fide spiritual master, Samit Pani. He is coming in the authorized Guru Parampara. What is our Guru Parampara? We are Brahma Naradiya Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Lord Krishna, he gave the knowledge, Upadesh, to Brahmaji. Brahmaji to Narad Muni. Then Vyasadev, then all the Gurus. Then finally Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his disciples, and finally Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. So this Guru Parampara is going on. So that is the first quality of the Guru, that Samit Pani. He has served his Guru Maharaj in a very humble way. Amito Kangala Krishna Krishna Boli Dai Tava Pachi. I'm only taking your order. I'm only anxious. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in this regard, Ai Nanda Tanuja Kinkaram. My dear Lord Sri Krishna, I am your Kinkaram. I am your most insignificant servant. Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Budau. In this miserable material world, somehow I have fallen. And I am rotating in different species, in different universes, taking different forms. So, Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Sthita Duli Sadrisham Vichintaya. You please pick me up and put me as a dust particle at your lotus feet. That is my only desire. So with this Samit Pani attitude, so the disciple, he feels also the same thing in front of his Guru Maharaj. Because there is no difference between the bona fide spiritual master and the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. They are same level, because Guru Maharaj is representing 100% Lord Sri Krishna. So for that, Srila Prabhupada, he taught by his example. He taught us by writing his books and his Vani. So this is the greatest benediction that Prabhupada gave to all of us, the ISKCON devotees. That is Vani Seva. The most fortunate devotees, disciples of Srila Prabhupada, like Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and many others who had the greatest good fortune to be with Prabhupada and personally take his instructions, personally serve him in different ways. So that was Vapu Seva, that many of it, Prabhupada was very anxious to personally teach each and every person that came to him. He would take unlimited pain and sufferings because he was anxious to deliver all the souls in this earth planet and in this material world. So his compassion was unbounded, and his faith in his Guru Maharaj and his faith in Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was like Himalaya mountain. It cannot be moved. Prabhupada said that I am always chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And I am thinking that if I always chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and I remember Krishna, then Krishna will be kind upon me and he will deliver me. So he had this humble attitude, even though he was Samit Pani Shrotriyam Brahmanistam. Brahmanistam means Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam Evam Yo Veti Tattvataha. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that my Janma and my Karma, my activities and my birth are Divyam, spiritual, totally transcendental. There is nothing material about Krishna. There is nothing material about Krishna's devotees. Nothing material about Krishna's holy dham. There is nothing material about Krishna's holy name, Krishna's pastimes. Anything that is connected with Krishna, it also becomes spiritual. So we are becoming spiritual by the blessings of Srila Prabhupada. He is very, very out of his compassion, caring for us, training us. We just have to be ready to take the training from Srila Prabhupada and his devotees. Then we get all the blessings of Krishna. So this bona fide spiritual master, he is totally absorbed in Krishna because he understands Ete chansha kala pumsa krishnastu bhagavan swayam. Prabhupada said that the only purpose in practicing Krishna consciousness is to understand Krishna as the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. All the avatars, ete cha ansha kala, all the ansha and kala avatars are coming from Krishna. So he is the original Vishnu, he is the Adi Vishnu, Ananta Vishnu. And he showed that to Lord Brahma in Brahma Vimohan Leela, how all the Vishnus are coming from Lord Sri Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. So Prabhupada said that only thing you have to try is to read my Krishna book, read Srimad Bhagavatam and try to understand how Lord Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Shri Ete Chansha Kala Pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. How he is Swayam Bhagavan. That you have to understand through my books. I am working day and night to write these books so that my devotees can understand who Krishna is. And once you understand thoroughly, studying Krishna, who Krishna is really, then automatically you start chanting Hare Krishna and your chanting becomes the highest quality. because now you have thoroughly understood from the Guru, Shrotriyam. That is the purpose of joining in ISKCON and doing all the activities, is to become Shrotriya. What the Guru Maharaj is saying, what Guru Maharaj has written, we try to understand thoroughly. So in the Vedic language it is called Shrotriyam. You have become a good disciple, good student, because whatever the teacher is explaining you understand very clearly. So you can also become Brahmanishtam like that. Shabde parecha nishnatam. The Shabda is a Vedic Vakya. Vedas are full of knowledge, and the Vedanta is the summary of the Vedas. So if you want to understand and practice Vedanta, then you have to become an expert in what Guru Maharaj is saying, because he is able to pronounce the Vedic wisdom 100% correctly. He is able to pronounce the holy name Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this Mahamantra that originally that was given to us by a very greatest personality who came to this earth planet, and is also described in Srimad Bhagavatam in different slokas. Tyaktva sudastya surepsit rajya latvim dharmishta arya vachasa yadgadaranyam maya mrigam daita ipsita vande mahapurushte charanarvindam. Tyaktva sudastya. He had very wonderful, loving mother and wife. And in the middle of night, he gave up his house, his mother, his wife, all the opulences, everything. All the nice, wonderful devotees, hundreds of wonderful devotees, he had the association there. He gave it all up. And he went and took sannyas. Why did he take sannyas? Because Maya Mrigam, we are running after the Maya Mrigam. Like in the desert, a thirsty person is looking for water. And he sees the water, a lake, nice wonderful lake far away. He keeps going and going. But the lake never comes near him. Because it is the reflection of the sunlight in the sand. There is no water. So this material world, this Maya, there is no reality, there is no thing that can make us happy. Nothing is there. But we are Maya Mrigam. Mrigam means animal. So we are also one kind of, Prabhupada said, two-legged animal. So those who are not becoming sincere devotees in ISKCON, you can say they are two-legged animals. Because they are running after Mriga Jal. They want happiness, but there is no happiness here in the material world. So all these people who are running. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, now I will take sannyas and run after them and catch them one after another. So Bhagavatam is describing that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came to catch us and to deliver us. And he sent his Senapati, Srila Prabhupada, his greatest devotee. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never went out of India. Lord Krishna, even he never went out of India. Nobody practically from the Guru Parampara. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj only went as far as Burma, but not the other countries. But then Prabhupada, he went all over the world. Tirthi kurvanti tirthani. Wherever the pure devotee goes, he is carrying Krishna in his heart, and he can establish Krishna anywhere in the world and make a temple. So Prabhupada went, and his devotees helped him, and they built temples all over the world. And that is still going on ISKCON temples are increasing day by day, year by year. So, many big historians, the politicians in those days, they were in anxiety. What is going on? This one man, he is spreading the message of God all over the world, then who will listen to us? We will be thoroughly exposed. So they were in anxiety. Big historians of those days, they have written. Professors, big professors in the well-known universities, they have written that after 2000 years, after Christianity, Jesus Christ came, and after that, this is the first time that this phenomenon is happening, that this Eastern religion has taken roots in the Western countries. It never happened before. Jesus Christ, he tried to give this message of God and they killed him. So that is history. But Prabhupada, he took a lot of trouble to go all around the world. He came to America, he came to New York, then Los Angeles, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, Detroit, and also our dear Radha Kalachandji ki, he established Lord Krishna in his deity form. So he has given us, Srila Prabhupada has given us so many benedictions. But he personally said, the devotee, my devotee who is reading my books, studying carefully, my devotee who is distributing my books, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, he is my dearmost devotee and my dearmost friend. Prabhupada said that. So when I heard that, so then I thought, okay, Prabhupada, how I can make him happy? So let me study his books and let me distribute his books. So that is Prabhupada's mercy. And I thank you all nice, wonderful devotees to take part in this magnificent celebration that we have here all over the world, hundreds and hundreds of temples and places. This celebration is taking place right now for 24 hours, just like Janmashtami was celebrated yesterday. So today, Nandotsava and Prabhupada Vyasa Puja is celebrated all over the world. So that is the glories of Srila Prabhupada spreading all over the world. Srila Shukdev Goswami said in Srimad Bhagavatam that I am describing the glories of Lord Krishna, but even Ananta Dev is not able to come to the end of the glories of Krishna, because Krishna's glories are also Ananta, unlimited. So similarly, Prabhupada's glories, I am not capable of describing, but little bit that I know, I can tell you, I can share with you. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Jai Vishwambar Prabhu ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So now we're going to take the offerings off the altar, in front of Srila Prabhupada. And while we're doing that, because there's going to be some sound disturbance, you can come down. Because there's going to be some sound disturbance, I'll just keep talking for a while, and then we'll have Mother Prabhupada Priyapu say something, so that then we'll call it a day for today, because our hallway is full. Today is Nandotsava, and so there are many people who have come to have darshan of the deities, and so we don't want to hold them up as well from their darshan. And we'll also then do the Guru Puja, and after the Guru Puja, go upstairs and enjoy a sumptuous Mahaprasad feast. So, what I wanted to say was that Srila Prabhupada actually saved all of us from a situation that was truly calamitous. It's as if we were on a bus going down to hell, and the Earth planet is the last planet before you come into the hellish planets. And Srila Prabhupada stopped the bus and said to us, get off, you're in the wrong bus. Let's now get on the right bus and go back to Godhead instead, turned us around so much. There's just complete turnaround. So at one time, the GBC asked Srila Swarup, who's the person who was in Philadelphia? Swarup? Ravindra Swarup Maharaj and his team created a team to do a research based on which we would be able to fulfill a desire that Srila Prabhupada had when he left this planet. He spoke a desire that was his final desire, which is that we should all promote Krishna consciousness in a mood of cooperation. That if we wanted to show love to him, then we should cooperate. So what would this cooperation look like? And that was the research that was done. And in that booklet that came out, it's just a wonderful booklet that everybody should read, because it actually tells us about ISKCON in a way that we can all participate and helping ISKCON progress. So in that, it was described that if you're a devotee in ISKCON, there are three qualities that you must have. The first is that you should understand the mood of Srila Prabhupada. What was Srila Prabhupada's mood? Understanding that is so important, because then you can understand why Prabhupada did what he did. Now, of course, as Vishwambar Prabhu said, it's not easy to understand a person like Srila Prabhupada. We can spend many lifetimes to understand Srila Prabhupada and may not still understand a small particle of him. But then the second instruction that was given is that then we should know what his instructions are. Now we know what his mood is. After the mood comes his instructions. So what are his instructions? And for that, we have the Srimad Bhagavatam. There are many places that Prabhupada gave his instructions, but particularly he referred to the Srimad Bhagavatam as a very important book, a set of books that actually encapsulate everything that Srila Prabhupada wanted to say in instruction form is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So then, understanding the Srimad Bhagavatam, we should serve according to the mood and instructions of Srila Prabhupada. So those were the three steps to be considered a devotee in ISKCON in good standing. That we should know what is the mood of Srila Prabhupada. 2, we should know what his instructions were. And 3, we should serve according to the mood and instructions. And if we do that, then what will happen is a mode of cooperation will develop amongst us, because Srila Prabhupada very much encouraged that each of us should actually bring out our own initiatives. He actually used the words, initiatives turn sand into gold. You can imagine how valuable gold is, and you can imagine how much sand there is in this world. Each of those particles of sand can be turned into gold by initiative. Initiative means how can you serve according to your nature, cooperating with other devotees, and help the whole world become Krishna conscious. Prabhupada made a very important statement that ISKCON will be known as having saved the world in its darkest hour. And not only that, he said ISKCON will be known for having saved the 3 worlds. All the hellish planets, all the middle planetary systems, and all the heavenly planets, all the way to Brahmaloka. Prabhupada described it amazingly in the Srimad Bhagavatam that how some of the greatest devotees that we revere, like Lord Brahma, have not actually understood Krishna. And to understand Krishna requires a certain mood. That mood is carried by the Acharya. That mood is carried by the Acharya. And then the instructions that are given according to that mood, if we imbibe that in our lives and make an effort according to our nature to promote Krishna consciousness, that truly pleases Srila Prabhupada, and Krishna confirms that in the Bhagavad Gita, that one who spreads this message is most dear to me, and there never will be somebody more dear. So we're all very fortunate that Srila Prabhupada came, gave us this message according to what Srila Rupa Goswami wanted to do in terms of him coming to the world, because he is the best amongst all of the servants of Radha and Krishna in the spiritual world as Rupa Manjari. So we're so very fortunate, we can never even imagine how fortunate we are. We have nothing to be concerned about. We simply have to, with all for love and heart in our souls, progress Krishna consciousness with this type of mood. So now that all the banging and everything is over, I will now ask Prabhupada Priya Prabhu to come and say some things, and that'll close the session. I know some of you also would like to speak, but please record whatever you want to say and put it on YouTube. And there are lots of people who can put out, shorts and things like that. Do that. Prabhupada said one time in a dream in 1993, he came to me and he said, our business is publishing. Publishing means put the word out. And how do you put the word out? Through our books, and also now all these wonderful social media tools that we have to put out messages in 10 seconds, 15 seconds. And people love these 5 seconds. So you can't speak much? Don't worry. 5 seconds. Say something in 5 seconds, put it out, find some smart people to put some nice background to it or whatever, nice song to it. Even if it is a Karmi song, who cares? But put the message out of Srila Prabhupada. You will do amazing things. Prabhupada will never be happier than you having done that. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Nityananda Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Srila Prabhupada was a very deep, fathomlessly deep personality. He was deep in his, philosophically deep in his devotion, and of course deep in his love for Krishna. And he encouraged us also to love Krishna with all of our hearts. At the same time, Srila Prabhupada was a very practical person. He was someone who liked to see results. And we were listening to a lecture this morning by Srila Prabhupada in which he was giving us a definition of love. And he was saying that love means that you work very hard to spread the glories, to spread the teachings, to spread the name of the person that you love. So if we love Krishna, then we have to spread the name and glories of Krishna. Love for Srila Prabhupada means spreading Srila Prabhupada's name, glories, and teachings throughout the world. So Srila Prabhupada, he once said that he said, I've given you the framework, and now you fill it out. He said that my books are the foundation, and I want you to build on this. So Srila Prabhupada, as our founder Acharya, he started this movement, he set the mood, he set the mission, but he's also depending on us to not only maintain it, but to carry it forward, to expand it all over the world in so many different ways. So since Srila Prabhupada's departure, now decades ago, the world has changed in so many ways, and it's up to us to rack our brains to figure out how to make Krishna consciousness more accessible, more relevant, and more applicable to people nowadays, especially the younger generation. So after distributing Srila Prabhupada's books for many, many years, I started getting this calling, this impelling, heartfelt calling to extend what Srila Prabhupada has given us by producing a version of the Bhagavad Gita that's very easy to understand, that's relevant and relatable to the younger generation, to newcomers to Krishna consciousness, to, just random Joe on the street. And I felt really, that I had to do this. It was something that was pressing in my heart, that Prabhupada Priya, you have to do this for Krishna, you have to do this for Prabhupada. And I was plagued by my own self-doubts and false humility and fears, thinking, who do you think you are to write a Bhagavad Gita that's in any way more effective than Srila Prabhupada's? And, what if the devotees, criticize you for overstepping, or, what if you become condemned by the very society that you've dedicated your life to? It was a big personal risk, but I prayed and sought guidance from senior devotees and Srila Prabhupada. And on this auspicious day of Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja, I would like to offer this book at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. It's called The Living Gita. Subtitle is A Bhagavad Gita for Our Time. And so it's a full Bhagavad Gita, 700 verses with commentaries for the whole thing, written in a very friendly, personal, informal language with examples that everyone can connect to, with explanations that are very clear and easy to understand and easy to apply. And so, I want to give this book as an offering to Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada, I hope that you'll be pleased with me. And Srila Prabhupada was very pleased whenever his disciples had something to report, right? When devotees like Tamal Krishnaraj and other senior leaders of the movement met him, they would pay their obeisances and he would ask, what is the report? What have you done? So devotees, they wouldn't like to go to Srila Prabhupada unless they actually had some, achievement that would please him to tell him. So whenever I sit down to write my Vyasa Puja offering, I always I reflect back on the year and I think, what do I have to actually offer? Not just words, not just flowers, but practically, what have I done to offer to Srila Prabhupada this year? And so, this is my main offering that I would like to present to Srila Prabhupada this year. And I'm very hopeful that this book, by the grace of Srila Prabhupada and for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada, can touch the hearts of many conditioned souls in this world and serve as a bridge. It's like a bridge Gita, right? Srila Prabhupada's book is our Gita, Bhagavad Gita as it is. And the living Gita, this book, is like a bridge Gita to Srila Prabhupada's Gita. So in the same way that disciples bring souls to the lotus feet of Guru, so I'm hoping that this living Gita will bring many souls to Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, to his shelter, to his movement, to his service, and many people can take tangible steps on their journey back home, back to Godhead. So if you want a copy of this Bhagavad Living Gita, please see me. It's also available on Amazon.com. Just look up The Living Gita by Prabhupada Priya Devi Dasi, or just type my name in, Prabhupada Priya, and it'll come up. So I'd like to thank Srila Prabhupada for all of his inspiration, his continued mercy that keeps flowing, and pray to him to continue to engage me as an instrument in his service. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.